And then at what point did you realise that it had to come to an end type thing, or was it like seems to be maybe a point before the tour finished or something?
I quit mid tour, yes, and it's 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 come to my attention very recently that you know uh, a lot of people actually have inferred that maybe I had a drug problem, which I didn't at all. Uh,
Yeah, I'll just read that. I'll read that quote. I think it was Kelly who said, "I can tell you it was about someone doing cocaine and someone not being into it. That's all I'm going to say." But then apparently later said that wasn't about you and Gordon. I don't know.
it had nothing to do with me and Gordon, and like this is the most frustrating. Like I felt at the time I felt like well, okay, a few things were beginning to happen. Well, a few things happened in the kind of final month of me being in the band. That was sort of like, I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I was actually as we were drawing the four album cycle to a close. I was like, yeah, actually, I'm good. I think this is it. I'm fine. I don't think there's anything else I can gain really from being in this band. I certainly felt in terms of as a musician, I wasn't really able to offer much else, and certainly wasn't learning anything from the process and of writing music with Block Party. And I think if you are a creative person by nature, like you should always want to be learning something new or at least trying to do something new. And I just felt like we weren't doing that as a band for whatever reason. I mean, I'd certainly, for my own part, I feel like I'd certainly grown used to relying on certain tropes in my own playing, and I didn't really see a way out of that. And I just felt like collectively there was no way we were going to become a new band or like do something that was really going to push us again. So I was like, yeah, it's fine. I don't need to. Actually, I'm pretty comfortable now. I don't need to be away from my family, my friends, quite as much as this, and not really have a life outside of this band for the sake of just playing the same old songs and like writing them in exactly the same way. So I definitely was ready to leave after that record. I wasn't necessarily looking for a catalyst or something to really push me over the edge, but yeah, a few things happened that just made me think, well, this is not. Kelly isn't really creating a very, a very happy. He's not cultivating a happy working environment, and I essentially was just working in the band. I was just like a worker, like anyone else. And that's all I was doing. And the day I'm not going to go into too much detail because it involves someone who wasn't in the band, but and I still feel compelled to preserve their dignity, even though I'm sure they don't really mind at this point. But um, uh, there was a birthday celebration going on in the bus, which I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Um, uh, were drugs involved? Apparently, and yeah, I think Kelly took umbrage to that and was trying to remove that person from the touring party. So when I heard about this, I was kind of like, oh, fuck it, like I can't work with this person anymore. I'm just going to quit. And so I did. I, uh, I got back to my house and because we were in New York, and I just sent an email. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm fine. And that's really what happened. But but yeah, I mean, as a band, did we never do drugs? Of course not. Like I think anyone who's been in a rock band and toured consistently has definitely had that come into their world. But did any of us have a problem? Not at all. And um, you know, I didn't even drink before going on stage. Like I couldn't, there was one time I had like a beer and I went out and played and I just did a horrible job. Like I would like to. I I seek solace in the fact that I think anyone who encountered me would have appreciated that I was as a live performer. I was about as professional as I could have been, really.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely came across that way. Um, but like you say, you were ready to leave at that point, so it's kind of like there's no regrets afterwards type thing.
It would have behooved me to have done that final month of festival touring. I just to say my finances would have looked a little bit better, but but it was like I don't know. It really felt like it just felt like the bottom of it had come out for me. Like I just it really was. I just felt like Kelly was an insurmountable obstacle, and it was like I can't. I don't want to go out. I just don't think I can go out on stage anymore and play this person's music and like give, attend to my duties as a drummer and if with 100% commitment. And I always wanted to go out there and like play like I really meant it, And suddenly I was just like, a switch went off. I was like, I can't do it. Like I can't. It's not fair. It's not fair on the band. It's not fair on like whoever's like paying to watch this band perform at this point. I don't believe in this project anymore. I don't want to do it, and I couldn't. Yeah, that's really what happened. But yeah, I think as a middle-aged man looking back, I think I could have sucked it up maybe for a month longer and just like left with a little bit more dignity. But at the time, I wasn't even trying to make a point. I just like something happened where I was like, I can't do it. I can't, and I'm not going to do it. No one can fucking make me do this anymore. I'm done, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. Were we able to like were Matt and Matt, sorry, were Russell and God were Russell and Gordon understanding like what about Kelly as well? Don't know.
Uh, well, I basically, in my email, in certain terms, I told Kelly to go fuck himself. So, like, I immediately burned that bridge. And,
Has that been the same since?
huh?
Has it been burnt since type thing?
I mean, that bridge is totally burned. It's like I haven't spoken to him since I quit the band, and
Right.
that uh, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, yeah, with Gordon and Russell, it was a bit more. I mean, I don't see Russell that much because I don't. But like, I still care about him deeply, and if he is in town, I will. We will hang out. I saw him last summer when Bloc Party were in town supporting Paramore. Gordon, I'm much more in contact with because he left around the same time, and I think musically we have a lot more in common, and I think our philosophy on life is fairly similar as well, and we've always stayed in touch. And like as I said earlier, we're trying to write some music together now. But Russell was pretty. Russell and Gordon were pretty generous about my decision, and Russell's a born musician. He's born to play music. He'll do it until the day he dies. And like I think he just accepted it and was ready to move on straight away and just get on with the rest of touring that record and continuing his life in the band. Gordon like was very honest with me after the fact and was like, "Yeah, I was pretty disappointed that you left when you did," and I totally get where he was coming from for sure, because I think to him it felt like I left him hanging out to dry a bit, which yeah, if you look at if you look at it a certain way, yeah, that's totally what I did. It was quite a selfish decision that I made, but I also couldn't, like as I said, I just felt like I couldn't continue.